So specifically means in a specific manner or for a specific reason. So it's about a limited or particular thing. So rather than it would be saying you could say we wouldn't usually use it to talk about quantity. And because they're talking about the level of pollution is high, we wouldn't say it's specifically high, and we might say it's particularly high in a certain region. It's hard to explain this one because a word like particularly could be used to add emphasis, whereas specifically is never used to add emphasis.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not. Yeah, so I specifically work on mathematics. So in that case, it's working as an adverb that modifies, that narrows. You're pointing to the narrowing of a region, a narrowing of a topic, but you're doing it as an adverb. It's through the activity, rather than modifying the adjective high here. So specifically, usually that adverb is used to modify a verb, whereas adverbs of other kinds, like exceptionally, are more often used to modify the adjective high.
So
Particularly is a different case because it's being used a bit loosely, but we could say particularly high would be to add emphasis. So it's used in a different way than specifically. Particular is to kind of highlight it and say, look, this is particularly high in these regions, but it might be high in other regions. Exceptionally would be even higher compared to other regions. It's an exception. It sits outside of a typical pattern.
So
I think it almost always modifies a verb. I specifically work on mathematics, or I think specific as an adjective is much more common than specifically as an adverb. Let me see if I can find a good example of specifically in use. Specifically is combined with a preposition. So the examples on Cambridge are, these jeans are designed specifically for women, or I bought it specifically to wear at the wedding. Does that make sense? So it's often prepositional.
wait. Use for after this one or to.
So I think that this Cambridge page is good because it's clarifying. Often we have a preposition with specifically to designate a target for something that is this narrow group of something within this broader group. This is what we're specifically looking at. Or it modifies a verb. So if you go further down the page, there's also a lot of examples of it modifying a verb.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's very important. I specifically asked, you mentioned you specifically. Great.
It's just a really weird, what it does is it pulls something out, but it pulls something out it's not saying that thing has a statistical relationship or a probability relationship. It just says that it's distinct from other possibilities or other regions. Whereas here they want to use exceptionally because they want to indicate that the quantity is exceptionally high. It's like it's an outlier.
Amazing.
Okay, so this sentence is about artificial light on beaches. It's attractive to hatchlings. It doesn't cause them to stay away from the sea. Stay is not as good here because the situation is that these little turtles are moving they hatch and they start moving straight away. So rather than being stationary and then deciding where to go, staying somewhere, they're moving already. So they're moving. What direction are they moving in? What matters is that they move towards the sea, not away from the sea. So stay away from the sea, I think, is actually okay, but it's not the best choice. Move away is better for what we're visualizing here. Okay, so stay away would imply that there's something about the ocean that they're keeping away from, that they're staying away from. But in this case, it's actually that they're being attracted to something else. So the problem is that they're moving away from the ocean, but they're not specifically staying away from it. It's that they're drawn to something else. Stay away from is fine here. It would work just fine. It's just that moving away from is slightly better for the exact meaning. So we're imagining that they're moving away from the ocean towards something else, rather than staying away from the ocean because of something in the ocean. To the light. Because I think that the idea is that they've evolved to see the reflected moonlight and to follow that. But instead they see, like, I don't know, a human light. Okay, because it's about their ability, interfere with an ability. Yeah. To interfere with their ability is, it's not necessarily to stop them from being able to do something, but it's like it's messing around with the process. It's so if I'm trying to concentrate, maybe my family is interfering with my ability to concentrate by coming into the room, asking me for food, that sort of thing. So we're being interfered with. It's not that I can't concentrate. It's not that they can't still find their way in the right direction. It's that it's interfering with that process. I mean, it depends. You could want to interfere. You could say that our new technology interferes with spy satellite signals. So it would have a negative effect on their signal, but it would be a positive total effect for the person who was doing it. You could interfere with negative processes, I guess. And it's usually interfere with or interfere in, some combination there. So I'm interfering in somebody else's affairs. I'm interfering with a process. Interfere in a state of affairs. Yeah.
Interfere with, thanks.